Well, hello everyone. We have not streamed in a while, except for one time recently, but we finally have a live play going. These are my friends, Alex, Joe, Cody and Madeline, Mariah, and we're going to be doing a campaign of Kids on Bikes as our first Friday playtest. So the idea of this stream is every Friday, we're going to make, probably every other Friday, rather. We're going to try out a bunch of non-D&D games, play through them, have a good time, and then talk about what we liked and didn't like afterwards. We're going to go through a bunch of games. These will be one-shots and or short campaigns. For this game, we're probably going to be on it for 4 to 5 sessions. Kids on Bikes is one of my favorites, which is one of the reasons we're starting there. It's super good. If you like it, put parentheses kids in the chat, and it'll bring you a link where you can purchase the book or a PDF yourself. I'm going to shut up and let my friends introduce themselves. Alex, let's start with you.
Oh boy. Okay.
It's parentheses KOB. I said it wrong.
My name is Alex. I live in upstate New York. Been playing D&D for about 5 years, and just recently started branching out into other RPGs. Played one game of Kids on Bikes with Casey before that was not streamed, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm excited to be doing this one tonight.
Awesome. Joe?
Hello, I am Joe. I go by Jada on Twitch. I am kind of in mind, but I'm not sure exactly how the group setting will go, so we'll see. I've been playing board games most of my life, but definitely much heavier into it the last couple of years.
Yeah, we've all played D&D together in one form or another, but I don't think we've played any other games. Except for Allie and Mariah, we've played this game before. Yes. Cody and Madeline, your turn.
We don't have to speak in tandem, do we?
No.
Because we can't.
We were gonna... I will fix it later so you guys are not... So it says Cody and Madeline. Well, I'll fix that for next time.
Anyway, to actually do the thing we were supposed to be doing. Hi, I'm Cody. Madeline and I are married and cohabiting, so that is why we share a screen. We're from Texas. We know Casey because we are not originally from Texas. We're actually from Tennessee.
We're not from here.
We live in Texas. We are from Tennessee.
Which is not better. But does start with a T, which
is somewhat irrelevant. So we like it starts with a T like tabletop gaming, which is a thing we like and it's why we are here.
Cody's done an episode of Cover to Cover with me where we talked about orcs and dwarves and problematic things. Also Tolkien. And that was a fun
Another T.
Yeah.
I like to knit, so I'm going to do that.
Madeline, I still want to see a knitting Twitch stream.
I mean,
I'd watch it.
It's just, I don't know what I would talk about. It's like, still knitting.
You don't talk. You just put a camera towards your knitting project, and you play chill anime beats to study to in the background. But not that exactly, because then you'll get DMCA struck or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, some of my favorite streams are literally watching people paint and watching paint dry. So
yeah,
I mean,
those are real possible.
I just don't know if I could sit there for that long.
I watched a stream today of someone silently reading Ozymandias, like the poem. And it was just...
Silently?
For parts of it. They talked about it every once in a while, but not the whole time. You could see the text and stuff. It was interesting.
Huh.
Also, it was Ozymandias, which was a choice.
I'm just going to read to myself silently while we watch.
Hey, some things are oddly satisfying. I could see that being one of them.
Mariah, your turn. I'll point in the right way eventually.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mariah. I love role-playing games of all forms, tabletop and video games, and all of it. Yeah. It's great. I've been playing for a long time. And every new experience is great and fun, and I can't wait to play this game.
Nice.
I love it.
I will also mention, we plan to switch up the cast every game. You will see all of these lovely faces in other games, but you will see other faces too. And if you're interested in playing with us, one of the big things on my channel is like breaking down the whole gatekeeping thing with tabletop games, which is definitely a thing. So if you're looking for a group to play with and want to learn a game, reach out, find me on Twitter or on Facebook, both of which are linked on the channel, and let me know if you'd like to try a game, or even if you are a game designer and would like us to try your game. Reach out and let's talk and see what we can do. Alright, but let's actually talk about Kids on Bikes. So again, Allie and Mariah, you both have played this game with me before. And in fact, I believe you're both going to be using previous characters. Because we didn't finish that campaign.
We did not.
No, and your characters were great, and I do want to see how they turn out. But Joe and Cody and Madeline, you guys have not yet.
Indeed.
So, let me just explain a little bit about the game. As opposed to D&D, this one's a little more collaborative based. You guys are going to have a little more narrative control than D&D would normally give you. It'll be more me asking you what happens than me explaining what happens to you all the time. We're going to make the world together today. I'm not going to do that on my own. Everyone's going to take part in that process. The main thing to note is the skill system is different than what you are used to. I sent you all character sheet examples, and I'll send them to you again if you don't have them available. But you have 6 skills, rather. You have flight, brawn, fight, grit, brains, and charm. You also have 6 die, a d4, a d6, a d8, a 10, a 12, and a 20. So you assign each of those stats a die value. The skill ratings for like if I ask you to roll a skill, it'll be one of those 6. An average roll would be like somewhere between 6 and 10. So if I say roll brains for 7, and you have a d6 in brains, that's the die you roll. Now, I know what you're thinking. If I ask you to roll a 7 for brains and you only have a d6 in it, it's impossible. That's where the other mechanic comes in, exploding die. If you roll the maximum value on a die, so I roll a d6 and I roll a 6, I roll again and I add that number. That can happen an unlimited number of times. So I roll a 6. So I roll again. I rolled another 6. Then I roll a 2. So my total roll is 14. And that's how the exploding die works. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, right? With your d4, you actually have a higher chance of exploding. Because there's less options. But it's the lowest maximum, so that causes trouble. So it's very easy to see what your character's strength and weaknesses are. You also don't really have the chance of min-maxing, per se. You're gonna be bad at something. The other thing is that checks have incremental degrees of success and failure. And it's based on how far away you are from the goal. If I say roll brains for 7, again, and you roll exactly a 7, well, you barely succeeded. And that'll factor in. If you roll a 10, though, that's a pretty decent degree of success, and you're going to see a little more success. Getting 5 or more than the roll means you overwhelmingly succeeded. And that's where I give you narrative control. I won't even tell you what happens. You'll tell me what happens because you did perfectly. You did exactly what you wanted to do. Similarly, if you're 5 or under, if you're 5 under or more, I have complete narrative control because you failed spectacularly. A failure of 7 or more can be deadly. And you can find all that in the book if you forget. It lists your skills can go from a D4, which is you're terrible at that thing, to a D20, which means you are superb at that thing. There are 2 different kinds of skill checks. The first is a prepared action, which is like if you guys, as your kids, are sitting up at night, you've all spent the night at each other's houses, and you've worked out a plan. You managed to steal the blueprints to this building you're going to break into. You know where the vents are. And so you can plan ahead, and I'll say, okay, so go ahead and roll your brains check now. And you basically put that away in a pool. And when you get there, you can, instead of rolling, be like, I want to use that roll from earlier. Whereas an in-the-moment check, which there's another word for it, but whatever. Here it is. The book actually says 10 or higher or 15 or lower for like extreme success or failure. I'm not going to go so extreme with the difficulty levels. That's why I'm lowering it to 7 instead of 10 to 15. So the book says a little something different as far as degrees of difficulty, but that's just because I'm not going to go as extreme with it. An in-the-moment check, though, is where you roll it as it's happening. You have another thing. You have adversity tokens. Every time you fail a roll, you get an adversity token. So it's something you keep up with. You can use those adversity tokens to add a point to your roll. So let's say you have 3 tokens. I say roll brains for 10. You have a d8 in it. You roll a 7. You have 3 tokens. You spend 3, you now rolled a 10, which means you succeed. Every time you fail a roll, you get one. So failing still progresses the story. If you guys need... I'm going to make a cheat sheet for you guys on all this stuff, by the way, so don't worry if you forget anything. Those are the basic mechanics of the game. As far as making your character, there's really not much to it. And the book gives you, for those who have it, on page 66, it gives you tropes, which are basically like school-age stereotypes that you can use to build your character and then modify them. That way you're not building from the ground up. I actually highly recommend these. I think they're really useful to give you kind of an idea of what you're wanting to do. It also adds... Let's start here. Do we want to play small children? Like kids, teens, or adults? And it can be a mix. Who's thinking what?
I think, I don't want to speak for Mariah, but before we were both teens.
I think that's
Yeah.
probably about where I had in mind too.
Okay.
I like having a mix. I think
We
that can make some really interesting
Yeah.
Interactions.
So we have
scenarios. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have 3 teens, which I'm going to say high school age is basically how we'll interpret that. Cody and Madeline, do you have a preference? It doesn't have to be the same.
How small are small children? Because
We'll
that
say 7
covers
to
a wide range.
We'll say 7 to 12.
Yeah.
Also, I started looking at the book, but I didn't get to this. So like, does our age determine anything meaningful about our character other than just like how we want to play the character?
Good question. It does give you a +1 and 1 stat.
Yeah.
Which let me find that real quick because I forget that particular. I should have made a screen to share this with viewers, but I did not.
If I remember correctly, I believe like children are especially adept at like convincing adults,
Okay.
or the other way around.
Yeah. So you do get a few
Teens
things.
like aren't convinced by anybody because they're angsty and rebellious.
Yeah, here it is. I got it. It's on page 11. Children automatically receive the quick healing ability, and they cannot take the rebellious
Powerful.
ability. So you won't get the chance to take rebellious. There are abilities, which we can go through later, too. When rolling checks, children add a +1 to their flight, because it's like wrangling a herd of cats. And they get a +1 to their charm, because they're fast and likable.
Yeah.
I would argue with the likable. Teens...
Depends on the kid, I think.
Teens, on the other hand, automatically receive the rebellious ability.
Yeah.
And they get a +1 to their fight and their brawn checks because they're pugnacious and in their prime. If you don't like that, by the way, if you want to be a different teen, feel free to change that. I don't really care. You get a +1 in something. That's what this all essentially comes to. I don't think I want to do this based on age. You get to pick 2 things to put a +1 in.
I want to be a kid.
Huh?
I pretty much decided when I
I
asked.
also wanted to be a kid.
We can both be
You
kids.
can both be kids.
How old are you?
I don't know, like
Maybe like 8.
I was gonna be like 10.
The other thing it affects is the amount of money you have available. As a kid, you're going to have maybe a couple dollars at a time to your name. You have a little bit of allowance. Teens may have a summer job or a decent sense of income. They may have up to $50 on them at a time. Whereas an adult could possibly go buy a car. Or something like
In
that.
this economy,
I mean, it might be easier in this economy. Interest rates
We're
are
playing
low.
we're playing in an earlier decade.
That's the
So-
other thing we have to talk about.
Yeah. So we have 3 teens and 2 children.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, just so I know, Cody and Madeline, when you say children, what age are you guys thinking?
I think I would do a pretty good 8-year-old based on being camp counselor. So I'm gonna aim for that.
All right.
I like it.
8's fine. I'm going to say 8 too.
Okay.
Same age as me.
So we'll figure out how you
Don't-
guys are.
don't distinguish that.
Yeah, once we hear everyone's character ideas, we'll figure out how everyone gets together. Does anyone have any questions about what I've said so far?
I'm good.
I don't think so.
Clear?
Before we talk about characters anymore, let's talk about the world, because that's kind of the main thing we're doing together. One of my favorite things about this game is that we create the world as a group. Everyone has input, and this means that everyone has a reason to care about the world, and I don't have to explain every little thing to you. Oh, reading my notes. I forgot another thing we're supposed to do. Not supposed to do, but supposed to do and really should do. Let's talk about boundaries and safety tools for the game. This, even in D&D and other fantasy games, this matters, but I think this especially matters in a game that takes place in a facsimile of the real world.
Yeah.
Right? So these are going to be real world scenarios. We're dealing with kids that are like real kids and real teens. Which means, and it's also a horror game, so we're going to be dealing with things that are scary and perhaps troubling, which means we need to talk about people's boundaries and if there's anything that is off limits. For me, I don't like violence against animals, so there's not going to be like the killing of kids' pets or something like that to
Right.
an extreme degree. And I can tell you I won't get super deep into body horror. Like, we're not going to get like all Cronenberg-esque in this.
Right.
It's just not something I'm interested in. And so it's just something I personally will avoid. Is there any issues that you guys would prefer we just don't get into? And this can be a hard line, or it can be something you would prefer just gets, like, if it comes up, we kind of scoot past it. And if you don't want to say it, or if you think of it later, just message me, and we can talk
Sure.
about it later, too. But those are just my examples. Like I said, I'm not going to get big into animal violence, and I'm not going to get big into body horror. I think violence in general is kind of unavoidable to a certain degree.
Yes.
But yeah. Those are just things to think about. We're also going to use the X card in this game. When we actually play, I'm going to have up our private Facebook chat. And if something comes up that you're uncomfortable with, put an X, just put a type X and hit enter, and I'll know that it's a thing that I should skip past. And we'll just say fade to black, we go to the next thing. If one of you does that and I don't see it, someone bring it to my attention. And
Okay.
we'll move on. I'll try to keep an eye on that. I'm sorry?
I was gonna say, I mean, I don't really have a problem saying things that I'm uncomfortable
Yeah.
with if it happens either. So that's,
Yeah, it's just a thought. Some people do, so
Yeah.
it's something we
Yeah.
want to consider.
Yep.
And I've definitely seen games, especially these types of games, kind of go serious real quick in a way that people get uncomfortable with. So I just want us to think about that.
Sure.
Now for the fun part, the world creation. The first thing we decide is what year it is. I think when everyone thinks about this game, or the bigger fans of this game, the automatic thought is the 80s and 90s. I want us to pick a decade to start. My only rule is that it has to predate the smartphone.
Okay.
So you're saying that pagers are an option?
Pagers exist. T9 phones exist, so you can text, but it's like that thing where you have to hit 555 to get an H.
The Nokia T9 that you can't break. If
Yeah,
you
like
tried?
no earlier than the Razor, or no later than the Razor. So what decade do you guys want to play in?
So I gotta be honest, my first thought was 1918 for one reason and one reason only, but maybe that's not a good idea.
I don't know what you're alluding to. My brain's not working today.
Right?
No, there are bikes.
No bikes.
No, because there's the plague.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
And then also World War One was happening.
That'd be difficult. Yeah, I guess there is a cap on the other end because I feel like we're wedged between the invention of the bicycle and the razor.
when was the bicycle
The two most
invented? Like,
important. I know, but I was just saying in general.
the
Like, right?
bicycle
You
was
gotta be in-
invented in like 1870s.
I was gonna say I'm not opposed to going like way back. Like that could be cool too.
It could be. It might be harder to sink into the role playing of it, though.
It could,
That's,
but
that's my only concern.
Are we gonna play Kids in Catcher on the Rye or something like that? Or
So I
like
think like
Kids
the
on Charles
40s
Dickens?
is the earliest that
Charles Dickens.
the character I had in mind would go back, but I can change if we want to go later than that.
I think that's fair. I think let's go from 50s to 90s. You can pick any decade in there, so you have 5 options.
All right. Well, I know it's typical, but my vote goes to the 90s.
I think that's easiest for us all, right? Because we can all like
We all grew up in the 90s, I'm sure.
identify with that. It also
That
gives
doesn't
me.
mean that's what we pick. I'm just saying that's my
Yeah.
vote.
Is anyone
I've
opposed?
also
I convincingly
I've
know
also
anything about.
played some games in the 2000 the aughts, and that was before mobile phones.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't have a phone until later, so I don't know. Those games have also been really fun.
Yeah.
I was in middle school or high school.
It would have been. I think that would have been like 20 or like
Cody and I would graduate in
2003 or
11.
something.
I'm not even gonna say when I graduated.
Oh yeah, Joe's an old man.
I didn't have a cell phone until 2008. So,
I'm about the same.
I was
Yeah.
nearly done with college by then.
But I specifically remember
that's
going.
also the year. That's the year I graduated from college. So yeah, we're the
Two
similar
old farts.
too old.
But is anyone opposed to the 90s? I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with the 90s.
Okay.
Maybe it could be like late 90s, early aughts.
Late 90s? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we
Yeah, I
now
like
have
that.
a decade. I am now going to roll
And
a
you can
D10.
make the rules. You can just say
Yeah.
no cell phones. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, that's
You all have strict
Yeah,
parents.
like we're 8.
You all have strict Presbyterian parents who don't allow cell phones.
They're really not gonna like the character that I'm building then.
So here's what we're going to do. I think. You guys just told me a decade, the 90s. I have a D10. That'll determine the exact year, and then I go do cultural reference research based on
Oh
that.
my gosh, I love it so much.
1994.
All right.
hell yeah.
That's the year after I was born.
There we go.
All right,
Lion King came
1994.
out. There's one way to do cultural reference research. I think it was 94.
Yeah. So we're going to play in 1994.
Awesome.
All right. So we have our year. All right. I have a bunch of questions for you guys about the world, and I think what I want to do is we're going to go in like a circle. Allie picked the decade, so I'm going to start with Joe. and we're going to go clockwise. So you get to start the conversation about the question, Joe, and then everyone can chime in after you start the conversation. What city and state? What state are we in, and what's the name of the city? Or are we not in the U.S.?
That's interesting. I feel like a cold environment would be kind of fun.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Our last one was in Louisiana, so that's a nice contrast.
it is. It is.
Ooh, you could do like North Dakota.
Okay. So like some Fargo type of,
Oh, maybe.
or like Letterkenny type.
Yeah.
That's
I've always
Canada,
thought
but whatever.
Letterkenny.
Really
Hey,
good.
no.
Does anyone,
That's North
Wisconsin
Dakota.
or something.
so is anyone opposed to North Dakota? Or have another suggestion?
I don't have to try to do an accent, do I? Because I would.
You
do
don't
a
have
bad
to do
job.
an accent. I don't make anyone do accents. If you want to do an accent, you can, but you're never required to. We'll just
Cool.
assume it works like the TARDIS or like the Animus in Assassin's Creed.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
It's translated for the sake of the game to standard Western English. Okay, what's the name of the city or town? And this doesn't have to be real. What do you guys think? What's the name of a North Dakota town? Anyone in the chat have ideas? Feel free to spitball with us.
I just realized I don't really know any cities that are
I was-
actually in North Dakota.
I'm trying to think what I do know.
Let's
What
look
anything I
up
know
real
about
cities in
Dakota.
North Dakota.
How about Beltmore?
Beltmore?
All right.
That's totally made up.
Real cities
I
in
don't know
North
if that's a
Dakota
real city or
include
not.
real cities in North Dakota include Bismarck, Fargo,
Oh,
Grand Forks, Minot, Williston, Dickinson, Devil's Lake, and Medora. I'll also say,
Cannonball.
Yes.
I'm sorry,
What about like Devil's Fork?
Devil's Fork? Okay.
Well, Cannonball is a real place.
There's a Devil's Lake. Or is that
That- I
yes,
said
that's in
that.
North Dakota.
that's
Yeah.
what he said.
Oh,
So we're
yeah,
gonna go
okay.
with, we're gonna go with
Real
Devil's
place,
Fork,
or-
North Dakota. Devil's Fork, North Dakota. I like that.
Devil's Fork. I like
And you
it
can
too.
think about the way our town will be portrayed is somewhere between. Is like it's going to be like the iconic American town, right? In some fashion or another. Think the way Springfield works in The Simpsons or Mayberry. Like it's iconic of a
Right.
bunch of towns, right? So
Every town.
yeah, it's kind of every town. That's kind of the goal that we're going for. I like Devil's Fork.
like
And
it
that
too.
automatically gives me some ideas. All right. What is a pop? Okay, so Joe started that. Mariah, what do you think is the most popular industry in town? And you can also think about that as where are the majority of people employed? If I think to where Cody and Madeline and I went to college in Martin, everyone either worked for the college or for the factory that made tractors and lawnmowers.
Huh.
You worked in one of those two places for 80% of people, or on a farm. So this
Okay,
town is going to have a
uh,
similar, like, industrial superpower.
I want to say there's a big candy factory there.
Ooh, okay.
I like that.
Like
Anyone have
that.
anything to say about the candy factory?
I feel like it's probably one of the ones that makes like the lollipops. You know the suckers. What's the name of that company that makes those?
Like Smarties?
I'm
Like
going-
those weird, like, hard candy powder lollipops?
All I can think of is Tootsie Pops, and I don't think that's what you mean.
No, like the blow pops.
The blow, yeah.
Like Sucra or something
Dum-dums.
like that.
Dum Dums.
Dum Dums. Yeah,
Yeah.
that could work.
Is anyone
I don't know why,
opposed
but
to
my
candy?
brain immediately thought about a tot factory.
A what?
A what?
Like tater tots.
Oh,
Maybe.
question: Is it
I
one
was going
type
to
of
say-
candy or like several types of candy? like Willy
I think it would
Wonka.
have to be several types of. I don't see a factory like existing on lollipops alone.
One. Okay.
They might be the
I
best lollipops you've ever had, though. You
I
never
don't
know.
I
Yeah.
don't know the economics of lollipop making, so
Fair enough.
I don't know how rich this town is.
I'm automatically thinking for any other theater people, I'm automatically like in Book of Days Cheese Factory mode. And there's one guy there who wants to make artisan lollipops.
Oh my gosh.
What's the name of the
Yeah.
lollipop company?
I'm gonna say it's.
Uh.
I don't want it to be that specific. Give me a break a little bit though. That can be their specialty, but they have.
But what
other
about-
ones.
I
The
want to
Dog
say
Pop Candy Company.
it's named like Sucra, the Sucra Lollipop Factory.
I was gonna say Yum Yums.
Like Yum Yums.
Yum Yums candy.
Yeah, Yum Yums is good.
Okay.
Great.
Lollipops,
Yeah.
lollipops.
Sucra
That's
Corp,
right.
famous for
Yum
the
Yums
Yum
run
Yum
by
lollipop.
Supercorp. Yeah.
For the Yum Yum lolly, which sounds dirty somehow.
It does.
It's pretty clear now.
Papa Yum Yum.
So is this gonna be like? Is this gonna be like a mysterious like Willy Wonka-esque candy factory, or is it gonna be really boring?
Ooh.
At least on the
Has to be
surface.
serious.
I think at the very least there should be a good rumor about
Yeah.
the candy.
Oh, we're gonna come up with
Mhm.
rumors soon.
I know rumors are later.
Yeah,
but
that's
we
a
can't
thing.
decide, I think now.
I haven't forgotten
Yeah.
the rumors. What's something famous or infamous in our town's past? What's something that happened in North Dakota that people still talk about in maybe hushed tones?
Should there have been like a taffy explosion or something?
I was instantly thinking of the molasses. So one example of this that actually comes to mind is in Boston. A molasses factory exploded in the 20s and killed like
Yeah.
dozens of people because like molasses flooded the city streets and people drowned in molasses.
They got stuck in there.
It's a catastrophe that Boston still talks about. It's in
Oh my
documentaries and stuff. Something
Wow.
of that level is what we're looking for. So
Level.
it could be some kind of like candy related
related
Also,
disaster.
it doesn't have to be related, right?
No,
it
it
could be
doesn't.
something completely different. We are in North Dakota. It could be an oil pipeline incident or something like that.
Yeah.
Or is that too real?
That's maybe a little real.
That's a little real.
Little real. Okay.
I think so.
I mean, I like that. but-
There are examples of like candy factories and stuff that have waste that includes a lot of dyes in it, and then insects pick up the dyes and take them back, so you get bees making like green honey because they're eating all the sugar dyes.
Mhm.
Oh, that's
Oh, I
But
cool.
it's
love
just
that.
so powerful
Yeah.
that the bees themselves are just weird colors all the time.
Oh my gosh. I love it so much. That's amazing.
Devil's Fork has pink bees and pink honey.
Ah!
Oh, weird. That's cool.
Oh, I love that. That's so cool.
I love that so much.
That's gonna be
Maybe like
that's gonna be part of the
berry
logo for this
because
game.
it also makes them
Well, they
extra
could just
strong.
they could be different colors. Maybe the like different color bees have different color superpowers.
Maybe. So right now, like that instantly makes me think. 'Cause I was gonna get a logo made for this game, and I'll already tell you there's gonna be a pink bee in our logo now.
Aww.
Yes, cool.
How's our town doing economically? Are people largely poor? Is there a large affluent community? Is it a mix? Is it a layoff culture, like where people work seasonally? Like, how's our town doing financially? It's also the 90s, just before the economy started to...
Started to tank.
Oh yeah, I forgot that at some point the economy was not in the pits.
I forgot what that's like.
I feel like people loved candy in the 90s.
They
Yeah.
did.
I want to
This
say
place
it was
is making, like,
it's
gushers
like
and crap.
upper prosperity. I feel like that makes sense.
Well, the town's doing pretty alright?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The town is financially affluent. Cool. What are Madeline, tell me two notable organizations in the town.
Oh boy.
Um,
Or at least one. I can move the next one to Allie.
no, I think one of them is going to have to be a homeowners association.
Ooh, the
Uh,
true evil entity.
Oh, truly evil.
And then maybe like an association of concerned dentists or something.
Yes, I definitely think
Oh,
yes.
the society.
Wait, what about Matt, like Mothers Against Drunk Driving? That was a big.
Oh, is this gonna be like Dare but for teeth?
What about the,
Yeah.
Dentists against candy eating.
So,
what about
yeah, I'm
dentists
calling it.
against the candy mafia?
I'm calling it the North Dakotan the North Dakotan Society for Dental Health.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yes.
And here's what I'm,
Militant dentists.
one thing I really need from this is a mascot, and I'll tell you what I'm thinking right now. Like
Oh,
a
boy.
George Washington-esque figure with like gross wooden teeth. And like his whole thing is like they have this guy come to the local school and do things where he's like, don't be like me, don't eat too much candy and floss
my
regularly, or you'll have teeth like this.
They have like
Mold growing on them.
Yeah.
a giant toothbrush that like was originally supposed to be a costume, but is now just a very large human-sized toothbrush that with a face that he has to like carry around.
Yes, I like it. So maybe it's like a villain hero thing. Maybe it's a hero character that is a giant toothbrush and a villain, which is George Washington Nasty Teeth.
I love it.
I know who the true evil is in this
Or
game.
maybe it's like Fluoride Man.
And it's
Kind
the
of
tooth
deal.
decay.
Yeah.
The true evil is the HOA.
It is. You're
Yeah.
not wrong. You can guess where I'm gonna put like the secret cult society now.
Oh god.
Also too real.
You just love manicured lawns. What do you know?
As long as the flowers are all pink, white, or purple, no other colors. And not around the mailbox.
Can we have just like this guy that walks
3
around
feet
with a
of
pair of
separation.
scissors and like cuts little out of place grass? He's just like that's too long. I've got to trim it for you.
Like a more
Got one
annoying
of
Ned
those,
Flanders.
Tape measures that he can like shoot out to measure things in a holster.
So
Oh man.
I will
Be
say
impulsive, that's for sure.
some of my NPCs are inevitably going to be inspired by the fact that I just binge watched What We Do in the Shadows. There will be a Colin Robinson in this game. I guarantee you.
Yes. Oh my god.
Like that's a thing that will happen. I'm sorry.
I love it.
Allie, what's a notable landmark in town?
Kind of fits with the theme we've got going. We have an old-fashioned soda shop
Ooh.
that does like all the phosphates and all those like old school soda shops.
Yay.
Another
Sodies.
location for the dental blacklist.
So I get to come up with a cool NPC that's a soda jerk.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
You're welcome.
Cody, we actually had a band in high school that never played a show and only actually lasted a week of me and Cody being bored. There was going to be a surf rock band called the Soda Jerks.
Oh, cool.
So maybe this guy has a punk rock band.
Indeed.
That plays at the soda shop.
Yeah, he plays at his own establishment.
Punk rock soda shop.
In North Dakota. Joe, what is the school's name that your characters go to? Is it a school where like K through 12 is all in one building? Like is it kind of old school like that? Or is it like a complex, or are they in different parts of town?
I feel like this being a successful town in the north, they probably have the schools separated to where it's like high school, middle school, elementary school.
Still on a campus though?
A large campus, I
Yeah.
think.
Makes
I like that.
sense.
Is there a college in town?
where you go to study candy manufacturing.
They have a great chemistry program.
Clown. There's a clown college in town.
Oh my god.
There is not a clown
I'm gonna
college.
vote no. No college.
No college? There's like a community college, probably.
Sure.
The
It's like
tech
a
school.
for-profit.
Yeah, like a
community
vocation, like a-
college.
Yeah, it's gonna be like
Yeah.
a University of Phoenix
There's
type
an
of situation.
institute.
But what's the name?
Owned by the family that owns the lollipop factory.
Super
Oh,
core.
like the school's definitely named after one of their relatives, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like
Okay.
the James K. Sweet.
Oh.
James Q. Sweet High School.
I love it. James.
What is the non-dentally associated mascot of the school?
Okay.
This one's a Mariah question to start, I think.
I think like animals up in North Dakota.
Ooh,
Elk?
I
Bison?
was gonna say like moose, elk is what I think of immediately.
yeah. Yeah, I like
What about
moose.
Prairie chickens.
We're the Mises.
Wait, but prairie chickens.
Moose.
Do they live in North Dakota?
What's a prairie chicken?
I don't know, but that's
Ooh,
not-
what?
Sounds like.
Roadrunners? The Roadrunners?
Oh.
Ooh. Oh, prairie chickens look terrifying.
Yeah.
Pretty sure they do live in North
That
Dakota.
is not a majestic bird.
I'm having difficulty spelling prairie.
Yeah, but they will destroy you.
I mean, birds are terrifying. We could be the
Wow, those are cool looking.
The fighting prairie chickens.
the turkey
Yeah.
the turkey vultures.
Ooh.
It doesn't have to be a real animal. The prairie vultures. It's
Prairie
that.
vulture.
It's that, but scarier.
What?
Okay.
Prairie hawk.
The prairie hawks.
I like it. Prairie.
What if the prairie crows?
Prairie chickens genuinely are really cool animals.
Yeah, they're really cool looking. I like that.
Madeline, do you really want to stick with just prairie chickens? I'm getting the
Yeah,
sense.
like they're real animals. They're cool as heck, and they're also one of the most like
I'm
lesser
going
known
to.
species of native North American game bird,
I'm gonna have
and
to put one
their
of these on
range
screen
is being destroyed.
real quick for
I
everyone.
definitely do not know about them. So
You guys have to see this thing.
They're slightly
Yeah,
terrifying
I'm a
looking.
tad. It's cool.
There's
It is.
two kinds. There's the greater prairie chicken and the lesser prairie chicken.
Oh,
That
my.
bird is a whole mood.
Aw, the lesser one's really cute.
I like prairie chickens.
Oh,
That's
I can
cool.
have fun with that.
Can you just drop that in Madeline's chat box?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Madeline is
I mean,
now the
you're
greater
winning
prairie
it.
chicken.
Prairie chicken represent.
I don't. What are the copyright rules on Google Images? Am I gonna get in trouble for this?
You could get a
Nah.
Commons one.
You're fine.
There are Creative Commons pictures of prairie chickens.
We don't even care about protecting the real prairie chickens. It's probably going to be fine.
Oh Lord. I'll share some pictures on Twitter, chat. Don't worry. We're gonna go
You
with
could
the
do
prairie
like
chickens.
You could throw like a filter on it and do like an artist's rendering of it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the prairie chickens so that the cheerleading squad can be called the James Q Sweet Prairie Chicks.
Oh, cute.
That's upsetting.
It's a small town in the 90s. It's supposed to be upsetting.
Yeah.
Okay. At the school, at James Q Sweet High School, Madeline, who's the coolest teacher at school?
Oh boy.
And what do they teach?
I don't know, but I just thought of the high school moms association is the Prairie Hens.
Oh, nice.
I love it.
I'm sorry. Anyway,
The PTA is called the Prairie
cool
Hens.
teachers' names. I don't. Jemison, because that's the author of the book that was sitting next to me.
What is it?
Jemison, Jemisin, Mrs. Jemison.
Mrs. Jemison.
Oh yeah.
What is Mrs.
You're reading
Jemison?
N.K.
It's
Jemisin,
really
huh?
great. Just
Okay.
by the way.
What does she teach?
English.
I was gonna say either English or like social studies. Those were always the cool teachers.
Who?
Yeah.
Cody is the teacher that all the students hate.
Oh.
Coach Higginbotham, who teaches history, but is really, he's the coach.
Why does everyone, like, when I say hated teacher, like, I know coach is going to be the prefix. What?
Because he's there to coach.
Because many of the coaches don't want to be teachers. They just want to coach.
To be coaches.
They
Coach
are bad
Higginbotham
teachers.
teaches quotation
They
mark
just want to
history.
motivate the kids.
Oh, Lord.
I was lucky in high school because I had several coaches that just genuinely, really, really, really loved history so much that they were actually good history teachers.
Nice. Allie, this is actually each of you get to answer this separately. Allie, where does your character like to hang out in town? What's one place that your character enjoys hanging out?
Probably last time was the ice cream shop, so probably the soda shop this time.
Okay. And these can be repeat answers if you just
Yeah.
already like that. Joe, where does your character hang out?
So my character likes to hang out at the library, but not for the reasons that you would think.
Oh boy.
I know what you're going for. Mariah?
My character likes to hang out at the exotic reptile shop.
This is the 90s when pet shops were kind of crazy, so I like this. Mariah, what's the name of the pet shop owner? Is it something weird?
His name is
No, I know what his name is. It's
Randy.
It's
His
Randy.
name is Randy.
Yes.
Yep.
Gotta
It's
be
Randy. It'll make sense later, guys. We may have a guest player. If we can get him from Afghanistan, we may have a guest player at some point for Randy. I don't know what the Wi-Fi is like in Afghanistan, but we'll see.
That
It'd be more about timing. Than
I'm just playing.
It may just be because we're playing a game about kids, but I immediately thought about Randy from South Park when you said the word Randy, so...
We are in North Dakota.
that would be. It's Randy's dream to own a reptile
Oh
shop.
my god.
So I hope he.
You're welcome, Riley. I don't know if you're in the viewers, but if you
I don't
are,
know if he is yet. It's still pretty early there.
Randy Riley. Madeline, where does your character like to hang out?
It might be. I don't know.
There's like a small patch of uncleared land with a drainage ditch through it behind my house, and I'm 8, so I think it's the woods. So I'm gonna hang out there.
Behind the house,
Yeah,
AKA
small
Sewage.
area.
the woods. I'm in this picture and I don't like it. Cody,
I can relate.
I hang out at the dumpster behind the lollipop factory.
Wow.
Cody, are you gonna be the chubby kid? Are you gonna be like the really unhealthy kid?
I have an interest in the surplus supplies, but that is all that I am going to disclose so far because that's
Cody
all
is-
I've actually decided. I don't know why yet.
Cody is playing Bulby from Jimmy Neutron. That's what I think. Fun. Okay. Nice. If someone comes in from out of town, Cody, like if someone's like visiting and they talk with a local, where's the first place the local tells them they should definitely visit while they're in town? Like if we think of like some towns, it might be like, go try this place. They're famous for their pie, for like their cherry pie. or maybe like you really need to go to the state park and see the amazing view from such and such rock. Right? Like, every town has something that the locals, that it may not actually be famous for, but the locals sure think it's famous for that thing.
That's a good
It's the Devil's Fork
The Devil's
yeah.
Fork?
in the
Yeah.
park of town. The Devil's Fork.
Is that like a fork in the river going through town or something, maybe?
I said it's a fork.
I like that idea, Casey.
Okay, I think it's going to be like a river feature.
Fork statue.
Nope, this is
I mean, there
architecture.
can be a river, but there's
Okay,
also a
it's a
giant
fork in the river with a fork sculpture there.
Yes.
And no one
Someone-
knows who
Someone
made
made
fork
a
sculpture.
quirky sculpture.
Someone really, really wanted everyone to know that there was a fork in the river there, so they had
Yeah.
to make it obvious.
With
It's
an
a piece,
informative
it's a piece of
plot.
modern art. Like, the type
Yeah.
the type that would really get on
One of the
what's-his-face's
things that the
nerves.
owners of the Lollipop Factory had to have put up as part of sort of a write-off with the city.
It was like a grant thing. Like, they had to
Yeah.
pay for so much art to write it off of their taxes.
Yes.
I like it.
And their decision was to get more art to just make a bigger fork.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
There's definitely like a big ugly bronze plaque at the bottom that says paid for and funded by the Sucre Corp company.
The dads in town love it. It's like the spot for the annual dad barbecue.
It's probably definitely a place where like the high schoolers go when it's warm out. Like, there's probably like a rope that's way too high off the water to swing and jump off of, and it's a place to go and smoke illicit things and swim and all those kind of types of things.
Right in the middle of town.
Yeah, the teens really, they go there to fork.
Hey Lisa, you want to go to the fork tonight?
Yeah, let's
Except it's just
meet up at the fork.
park in the middle of the town.
Oh goodness. Anything else about the town we should know? What's a shameful part of the town's past?
Ooh, yeah, okay, that's a good question.
They outlawed coleslaw.
Coleslaw.
I fully participate in this outlawing.
Huh?
I would request
Yeah,
something.
coleslaw is from the devil.
I would request something
Not anymore.
mildly serious for this one. Because this is something I can use to write story, right? So I need something I can work with.
Okay, so they outlawed coleslaw because there was a potluck massacre
Potluck massacre.
Like,
Foodborne
There was
illness
feud.
outbreak.
at the potluck.
There was like a massive food poisoning thing.
I was more saying that like they just got into a
Food
massive
poisoning
fight.
thing.
But yeah, food poisoning.
E.
Bunch of
coli
people died.
outbreak.
Or maybe they just like outlawed cigarettes. So the kids are always trying to smoke them down by the fork.
It's definitely an E. coli outbreak.
Yeah.
Or like giving
Coleslaw outbreak.
given this town's like propensity for candy, maybe it's like a scurvy outbreak.
Oh, yeah.
Or some bizarre pollutants from the candy factory got into the water and
I like
caused
that.
this poisoning.
Yeah.
That is, the bees, there's already pollution problems because the bees.
A factory can pollute more than just the bees.
That is true.
I'm
Kids
saying,
got
like,
poisoned.
confirmed pollution.
Okay.
From candy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'll work. Maybe even like they used to let kids work at the candy factory as summer jobs, but a kid
Ooh.
fell into the candy vat, into like the molten candy vat, and now they don't allow workers under 21. Maybe like
No
a
more-
teenage
You mean
grinder.
they used to allow kids like under 10
Child labor, child endangerment.
We
because
agree
they
on
thought
not,
it was fun? Like kids love candy, right?
Maybe it was a
That'll work
field. It could have been a field trip.
Yeah.
Happy ghost.
This is why there are no vans allowed in the town anymore.
Yeah, it was a field
Oh,
trip,
vans
and
are
like
outlawed.
one kid
Okay.
got stuck in the chocolate river, and another one got caught in the taffy puller.
The other one turned into a blueberry.
Can there just be like an off limit area of the town that's like barred off because there was a big like candy spill, and that area is now
It could
just
be
really
like a
gross?
waste area, like a
Yeah.
contaminants off limits area.
There's a lot of good ones here.
The
Have-
candy
the
bog.
park.
Candy bog.
Off
Candy
limits.
bog.
I think the kids called it the candy,
Candy
bog.
bog. Oh, that sounds really gross.
And, like all of the water is that like rainbow sheen when you have like gasoline in water, but like more colorful.
Talk about sickly sweet.
Yeah.
All right, that was a lot of ideas. What are you leaning towards, Casey?
That makes me
I kind of like the
sad.
like candy wasteland.
Okay.
What's the name of the like nuclear wasteland in Fallout? Like where in Fallout 4, where you have to wear a rad suit to go into?
Oh man.
Megan, that's one of the 3 games that you play. What's the name of that area in
I
Fallout?
know exactly what you're talking about, but it's been a while and I forget what it's called.
It doesn't. The glowing sea. This is
Yes.
this is the glowing sweet.
Glowing sweet.
Cool. So we got a lot of information about our town of Devil's Fork, North Dakota. Now let's talk characters. I know that you guys are playing teens for the most part, except for 2 children. And I'm not going to ask you to design your characters outright right now. But tell me a high school or child stereotype that you're leaning towards. I suppose like the jock, the cheerleader, the conspiracy theorist kid, so on and so forth. Allie, how would you describe your character?
He's definitely a slacker.
Slacker, okay. Kind of just not motivated. What's his name again?
Trevor.
Trevor. So Trevor is Allie is playing Trevor the Slacker.
Trevor the slacker.
Joe.
So I am thinking we're going to be playing a teenage skateboarder.
Nice. Perfect for the 90s.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
skateboarder. Are we gonna go like Rasta Beanie, like distasteful dreads, like the whole 9 yards, or hacky
I
sack?
thought about dreads, but I think no. I think just like short hair and like
So like Salt Lake City punk style.
kind of like the kid playing the hacky sack off by themselves, or maybe with one other person.
You're Pauly Shore's character from Extreme Goofy Movie.
Maybe not quite that extreme, but yes.
But
You
close.
can add Cheese Whiz to your backpack. I'll allow it.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Mariah.
I'm playing Shelly. She is a weirdo. She hates Toad. She's kind of a loner. She has braces and long, straight, stringy, greasy hair.
Gross. Grody.
She's pretty gross, and
wanna
she's
share the
she's
nickname?
proud of it.
You don't have to. You can save it.
What is her name? I'm sorry. Oh yeah, Dirty Shelly.
Oh, I thought it was Smelly Shelly.
No,
Eh.
Dirty Shelly.
Dirty
I was
Shelly.
gonna say, I actually think.
Yeah.
Madeline,
Yep.
do you have an idea for like a trope in mind?
I don't know if this is a trope, but I was definitely gonna do more of a like gremlin 8-year-old. Is that
Oh, like a
Unofficial.
brat?
wild trope? What?
Like a brat?
No.
When you
Like
say
a gremlin.
You mean the like kind of feral child?
Yeah.
So when you say like I play in the woods behind my house, they're like building fake traps and throwing homemade spears at the mailman.
Yeah.
Okay. You've definitely brought pets into the house. When I was a kid, my brother once would often try to like sneak snakes in. That's kind of what I'm imagining. He'd be like, "I found a pet snake," and hide it in his.
I'm not gonna sneak
Oh my
it. I'm
God.
gonna throw it at someone.
Okay, so Madeline's playing a somewhat
Terror of the
ill-behaved,
child.
8-year-old. I like it.
Yes.
For you two in
And I'd be
particular,
quite.
for our 8-year-olds, how much freedom do you guys have in this small town? This is a town where about 2 hours on bike will get you all the way across the community. How much? This is the
No
90s. You
one
guys are
can
probably
stop
given.
me.
No one can stop you.
Yeah. Everyone is feared.
Cody, what are you thinking?
Which
Chaotic.
question? The stereotype question or the
Yeah, you're
like
true.
freedom question?
One then the other.
I guess I'll start with the stereotype question. You know the like collector kid, like kids who just get obsessed with like certain things, and even if those things aren't really important, or the things that like most people like, they're not collecting stamps. It's just like, I like this.
I had a really big one
Collecting the stickers off of fruit.
when I was in 4th grade.
I like buttons.
So I'm a collector kid, particularly the little paper lollipop sticks, the little paper rolls.
You just have a bunch of lollipop sticks.
Gross.
Used.
I mean-
They're all like different colors.
Yes, I mean you don't know
That
the
might be
1994
why you like
was a-
them so much.
Yeah.
I said that might be why you like them so much. Like, I have 43 blue ones and 12 pink ones, and
I mean, it's the color, it's length, it's girth, it's consistency.
oh, this is like a
This
Freud
one
thing.
is like pretty intact. Like the user didn't fully saturate it with their saliva. It's like very pristine.
They are
Still finds a great price.
Cody is playing a Freudian nightmare. Got it.
Oh my god.
For question 2, freedom. Not much, but I take what I can get. Like if I gotta sneak out at night to get to the dump to look for some sticks,
Ah.
I'll do it.
Cool. When you look in the book as well, so that determines some things about your characters, right? So you're going to use those types of things to decide your stats. What gets a D4, what gets a 20, so on and so forth. There are possible strengths you can take, and I'll let you guys look at those yourself. But for instance, Trevor may very well take easy going, which says when you fail, you get 2 adversity tokens instead of 1. You get to each pick 2 of these strengths. Most of them have you spend an adversity token to use an ability. Some of them just help you net more. The Wild Child may pick... you definitely, Cody, would be interested in Treasure Hunter. You may spend 1 adversity token to find a useful item in your surroundings.
Fantastic.
One of you might choose Wealthy, which I basically interpret as your mom gave you an Amex card. And you may spend 2 points to use your wealth. So on and so forth. If there's one you want, or an idea you have for a strength that's not in this book, let me know and we'll talk out how we can do it. The next thing is I need you each to pick a fear. I need like a phobia, right? And it can be... I want 2. I want 2 phobias each. And that can be fear of the dark, fear of ducks. Like, it doesn't have to be something real specific. Or it can be something really specific. It could be abstract.
Right.
For kids, it's probably not going to be abstract. I feel like fears get more abstract the older you get. When you're a
older,
kid,
yeah.
you might be afraid of ducks. When you're an adult, you're afraid of being stuck in your job.
Right.
I do have some fears.
One of them is matching socks. And the other one is sleeping under a ceiling fan when it's turned on too fast because it'll fall out of the ceiling and cut off my legs.
That's a good fear.
Matching socks, runaway fans. Got it. Allie, what are you
Mine?
thinking?
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry,
In
I'm
order.
just, yeah, in order helps me
Yeah,
organize.
go. I might have to circle back around on this. I have to think about
That's
that.
okay.
Wow.
Joe.
So I know one of them for sure is Candy. Like, I'm just afraid of Candy.
Like, afraid of or just, like, grossed out by? Like, candy's
Nope,
disgusting?
afraid of it. It just terrifies me.
Maybe you knew the kid when you were in elementary school that fell in the vat.
Maybe it was one of my family members.
Yeah! Like, you have the story of Granddad who's got this awful burn scar because he got molten candy to the face at the factory, working as a child laborer in the 20s.
And
Okay.
I don't know what the other one would be. I'll have to think on that one.
Well, just let me know.
I think one for Trevor is definitely going to be the dentist.
Ooh,
Not-
I can
not
abuse
like-
that. I like that one.
Not like the dentist, which is actually very accurate to myself.
I can abuse that. Cody, what do you got in mind?
Say
Cavities and latex gloves.
What the hell?
Do I need to elaborate, or
No,
does that
nope,
suffice?
that's fine.
Yep.
That'll do. Everyone's got tooth-based fears. This is interesting.
Well, it is a candy town
This is going to be a real one-note adventure, and I'm okay with that.
with Militant Dentist Association in the town. Kind of makes sense.
Dentist and/or the Archfiend. Dirty Shelly, what are yours?
Dirty Shelly's really afraid of toads. Hates fucking toads.
Gross.
And they're real gross. Slimy, weirdly soft, round.
Drew says
And,
bats.
And actually walking on gravel. She really hates the way it sounds.
I like that. So I need one more at some point from Joe, and I need
Yeah.
one more from Allie. No rush on it. Just let me know before next
Yeah,
game.
yeah. Let you know.
Okay. So given that you've told me that that our child characters only have so much freedom, and that makes sense. Of course, we're in the 90s, so you have a little more freedom than we're used to nowadays. Recently, my cousins told me that their parents have tracking apps on their phones, and that bothered me. But are like either of you the younger siblings of any of our teenagers?
so.
No.
No.
Are you two siblings?
No.
Yeah,
I was
that's
gonna say, it
no.
sounds like you're in two totally different households.
Cool. So we gotta
I
have
think
a
we share a drainage ditch.
we gotta have we have to have a reason for you guys to be associated. Oh, what if what
They
if it's
both
like
love garbage.
what if it's a mentor program? What if like Wild Child? Maybe mom thought you'd like chill out if you had a teenager to like be a role model for you, and Trevor's got to watch this devil.
Oh,
Of a-
this
of a
devil of
child.
which
And then-
really watch is
Yeah.
We're the same age.
Yeah, and similarly,
Class.
yeah. Similarly, Cody's kid, it could be like maybe if he has someone to hang out with, he'll be a little normaler, and then he gets
More
paired with
peaceful.
Shelly.
Oh God! Oh, I love these pairings so much.
Shelly's like, yeah, we can hang out by the dumpsters.
Just
Sure, I love it.
exacerbate
Yeah,
the
Joe, our
weirdness.
chat, Joe wants help with a character name. If you have anything, throw it to him. So I think we're gonna do that. Like, there's gonna be like a mentorship program because that gives me an excuse to keep you guys in the game. Because there's a
Yeah.
point where like if you guys are coming like oh Timmy lost a finger, I'm normally not gonna like mom's gonna not let you go back out again, so we gotta have a reason. So yeah, I think like a mentorship program then will work just fine, like a big brothers big sisters type of situation. Any other character relationships we should know about? You guys know you all go to school together.
I was gonna say, how do we relate to Joe?
While you guys think about that, 8-year-olds, what's your class pet?
A toad.
A pet toad. I love it.
Does the toad have a name?
Mr. Toad. Frog.
Can his name be Captain Ginyu for me?
Aw.
Sure.
I don't know what that's from, but it sounds cute.
It's from Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, there you go.
Wait, Joe, can you remind me of your character?
So I'm
What
playing
was your character again?
like a skateboarder. Hacky sack
Okay.
playing skateboarder.
Joe, I
Okay.
feel like you and I would be friends. So I'm a
Yeah.
slasher, and you're kind of a loner skateboard kid. So
Yeah, that makes sense. Like you maybe hang out
So I
and
feel like
watch me
probably-
skateboard, play
yeah,
hacky sack and stuff.
Okay.
hang out some-
If you guys don't have any idea, I have a table you can roll on too. For Mariah,
And me and Trevor know each other.
uh-huh. So for you and Joe, Mariah, would you want to roll positive or negative relationship?
Probably negative.
I was
Considering
Negative.
Shelley's general distaste of
It's
everyone.
a little hard to be Shelly's friend.
give me a roll me a d20, Mariah.
Alrighty. We have a 13.
A 13. What part of this character's something about this character's personality scares you?
Ooh, I'll leave it up to Joe. What about your
Joe,
personality?
yeah, what
scares
about your character's personality
you?
scares
What's scary
Shelley?
about you?
I always have really big books with me. And they look like really, I don't know, intimidating to see because of how large the books are.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, I have to have an excuse to show my mom I went to the library. So I'm always carrying all these books around, even though I'm really just skateboarding in front of the library.
You just don't
mostly.
trust him. That's suspicious. He can't be reading all those. What's he doing?
Okay.
Maybe it's less scared and more distrust.
Yeah,
If you prefer.
That makes more sense, yeah.
Yeah. Madeline, does your character and Cody's character have a positive or a negative relationship?
Negative.
Negative?
If we're in class and I'm a gremlin child, I probably have a negative relationship with everyone in the class.
Madeline, roll a d20 for me.
13.
Wow.
Wow. What about Cody's character's personality scares you? Or do you want to roll again? We don't want it to. Maybe we don't want it to be the same.
Yeah, do a different one.
Yeah, roll again. Roll again.
8.
8. What role did Cody's character play in the worst day of your life?
Oh.
I got a lollipop stick stuck in my hair.
They had to like shave
And it
part of your hair
was
off.
false.
Yeah, you had to go around with a big like shave spot for a while because he stuck candy in your hair by accident.
Yep.
I love that. Let's do
8-year-old
ones.
size problems.
Yeah. Let's do ones between the mentors and mentees, the big brothers and big sisters.
Okay.
Cody, I'm gonna say these probably are gonna be positive. No, they don't have to be. Cody, do you have a positive or negative relationship with your mentor? Is this like a forced thing, or do you actually like hanging out with them?
Positive.
Positive. Roll a d20.
I'm gonna say I actually think those two would get along because Shelly will just like cultivate the weirdness.
18.
18. When did you first realize that you have a crush on that character?
Oh snap!
Now I've got to think about the timeline.
Mm.
Like, is this
Shelly's 16, so it's gonna be weird.
Oh, it's a kid crush, right?
But he's
Like,
he's an 8-year-old. So
And
Yes, yes.
and we don't have to make it like Rushmore, right? Like it can be normal.
fair enough.
Can it though? I collect lollipops.
No, it should never be normal.
Before the assigning process, like, so I saw all of the mentors, and then I developed my crush on Shelly then, and I arranged the assigning system through some kind of machination so that I would be assigned to Shelly.
I love
Choose
it.
the lollipop stick
But why? Why?
to
I
determine which one you liked.
Is it just a
sabotaged
whim?
the other mentors from showing up that day.
Is it, oh, okay. Is it just a whim that it's Shelly in particular, and it just works out well?
I mean, I don't know yet because
Maybe she
I
gave
don't
you a
have
blue
character
lollipop stick and you didn't have any of those yet, or she gave you a lollipop in a color you didn't yet have.
Yeah, maybe she she had a special edition.
Yeah,
Fun.
something. Madeline, do you have a positive or negative relationship with your mentee? You're muted.
No.
I feel like probably my character has having a good time, but that doesn't necessarily mean anybody else is. So I'm gonna leave that up to them.
Okay. Allie, do you have a positive or negative relationship with your mentee?
Honestly, I'm kind of leaning like neutral, maybe negative. Like, I feel like he probably won't care whatever she does as long as it doesn't get them collectively in trouble.
So we'll say positive,
Definitely
I think.
will.
Or here,
Okay.
I'm gonna roll. If I roll an even, it's a positive relationship. Odd, it's a
Okay.
negative relationship. That's odd. So you have or you and your child charge don't necessarily get along. So roll me a negative d20.
All right, who's rolling? Me or
Child charge is a good way to describe someone you don't get along with.
It's an 8.
An 8. What role did this character play in the worst day of your life? Roll again. Let's not get any
I was gonna
repeats.
say, I feel like didn't we
Goodness.
just- What's up with that? Okay, this one's a 1.
A 1.
Maybe we'll fail in our relationship. I
What
guess.
did this character do to you in the past that you still resent them for?
Seriously.
You definitely
Similar
got
question to the
in
previous one.
trouble for something. And, like, that's not chill. I don't like being in trouble. I
Does-
like being not
Does
known.
your character skate, Allie? Or just hacky sack?
I'm leaning towards neither.
Okay.
You just watch
I was gonna
Joe's
say, could
character?
Yeah, I
get
just
you like
like
banned
hanging
from
out.
the
I
skate
like hanging
park.
out with Joe's character because it's just chill. Trying to think, what did you do to get me in trouble? Maybe you ran away doing your own thing and I couldn't find you, and like your mom got mad that I lost you.
Yeah, that works. She went away to the woods and like you got in trouble for losing her.
You were gone for like a while. It was like a big deal.
Yeah, I like that. Like you got called into the police station and questioned and everything.
Yeah, it was like really not cool.
Madeline, is that okay?
That sounds good.
Okay. I like that. I like that a lot. Cool. So all the characters have relationships. You two, the children, don't know Joe's character yet, but they will. My next question. Cody. Yes. I just saw your message. The next question is there anything in particular you guys would like to draw from thematically from this? I can tell you some things that I'm going to go read/watch. But do you guys have anything you want me to pull from? I'm going to be going and watching a lot of X-Files and Twin Peaks. I'm also planning to watch.
Okay.
I'm also planning to watch Event Horizon this week.
Peak.
I haven't seen any of those things.
I haven't
Don't watch
tried,
Event Horizon
but-
if you haven't already seen it. It's too late for me. If not, that's fine. But like, if there's just
I might have to-
directions that you guys would be interested in taking,
I have to think on that.
I can tell you a lot of the games of this I've seen involve time travel. I'm not doing that because it's every game I've seen.
Sure. For
The game will hit a lot of horror notes, and some mystery notes, and that's kind of the direction we're gonna go. Does anyone else have any questions about how to play the game? Am I missing anything on rules that I didn't explain well or need to explain again?
Oh, I did want to ask, and you haven't brought it up, so I'm thinking no. Are we doing the, like, everybody controls the one special character?
I have a plan for that. We will bring it in
Okay.
later.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh, sorry, we do need to roll flaws.
Okay, let me bring
Or
that
we
forward.
won't roll these. But on page 61 there are flaws. I do want you guys to each pick one of those.
61.
61?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like at the
At least that's what it is in the physical book. It may be slightly different.
I do think there's a slight difference.
Well, because the PDF counts the cover and appendix.
So in the 60s.
This says 66 of 84. If that helps.
Okay.
I think I picked this before. I'll probably do it again. For Trevor, he's a bit absent-minded.
Okay.
He doesn't pay attention a lot. Probably why he lost the kid in the first place.
So the flaws are like organized by trope. I'm looking
No.
at that right? Or am I looking?
Yes.
This is the tip.
Correct.
I think if you
Like that.
pick a trope, it suggests ones that fit that.
Yeah. So you don't necessarily, like... The tropes are made to be customizable. You don't have to
Right.
stick with what it says. You basically use it
Cool.
as a template and then edit.
Oh, this says 2 flaws. Okay. So absent-minded.
Oh, I'm also going to watch all of binge watch Gravity Falls this week.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Oh, I haven't watched that in a long time.
Such a good show.
Yes.
So I'm gonna go with restless and superstitious.
Okay. Oh, I like Superstitious. That'll be fun. And again, I don't need answers on these right now.
Shelly's gonna be gloomy and secretive.
Okay.
So gloomy. Gloomy guts.
What a gloomy guy.
Okay. If you want to think about that, you don't have to answer right
I might
now.
have to look at the other one. I definitely want absent-minded.
I think I would like to go with hot-tempered.
I
and
love that. I
resentful.
love that for Trevor. I
Yeah.
love it.
Hot-tempered and what, Madeline?
I think resentful. Those seem like
Okay.
they would go very
Yeah.
together. Also play well
Okay.
with Gremlin Child.
I like
What's
that.
your other one, Allie?
That's what I'm debating. I don't know.
Because I was thinking maybe neurotic. Maybe he's neurotic about like one specific thing, and that would be a funny like pairing with
I might have
the
to.
absent-minded.
I might have to come up with it later because I got to think about like what I want to change about him this time. Now that we have the
Yeah.
setting.
Yeah.
Other-
I was gonna say for my character, I was thinking neurotic and secretive.
I like that.
That's
I
good.
feel like your character is going to have a really devious side that none of us see until late game. But yeah. Other things about playing the game. You're mostly going to want to avoid combat. Combat is
Right.
really dead. Like, it's probably not going to go your way. And if you roll a fail against like someone shooting at you, it's probably over.
Dead. Dead kid. Dead kid on bike.
Yeah, dead kid on bike. So just a thought, like be careful with like violence and stuff. If you fight, know that it's a serious thing.
Right.
Do any of your characters have jobs, teenagers in specifically?
I was thinking yes, but if I'm a mentor, I probably need
Maybe that is a
decent
job.
free time. Yeah, maybe that's the job.
Maybe you get paid for it. Like some people do it for like community service because they got in trouble, but others get paid.
Right.
Do any of
I
you have a
need to
car?
get that. No.
Joe, does
No.
your character have a job?
I was thinking maybe like works at the soda shop.
Nice.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
So you're a soda
Needed
jerk
soda
in training?
Shelly works at the reptile shop, but like not very well. We'll just kind of sit there. Like Randy kind of uses her because he has to, but doesn't.
I love it.
Is not happy about it.
I love it.
She gets paid whatever minimum wage is.
Right.
Cool. To the point of powered characters, we're not going to use that right away, but I will explain the mechanic. And I'm also going to modify the mechanic a little bit. So in this game, as with a lot of these like teenage horror TV shows / movies, you end up with a character with powers. Think Eleven from Stranger Things or E.T., the alien in E.T.
Right.
There's that. It's like that MacGuffin character with some kind of extraordinary ability that the other kids gather around. Similarly, this game has mechanics for me to give you all an NPC that has powers of some sort of supernatural or extra sensory abilities that you all collectively control. So the idea would be that you all collaboratively control this NPC. It's not a character that I run. It's a character that you all come to consensuses about what they do, and you get tokens to use their powers. I'm going to kind of modify that a little bit to make it simpler and make it an object at some point if it comes up. It may not even come up. It will still be something that you all will have to come to consensus before using its abilities. But it's probably not going to be a person.
A person. Okay, that's kind of cool.
And I won't go into super much detail, but like you guys may get access to some form of supernatural abilities from a thing at some point. And if so, I'll explain how that works more when we get there.
Okay.
But to review, our game is taking place in Devil's Fork, North Dakota in 1994. The town is home to Sucre Corp, a candy factory known for their Yum Yum Lolly. The town is infamous for having multicolored bees and honey from the bees ingesting chemicals and contaminants from the candy factory. Economically, the town is doing pretty well. There are a lot of affluent people in town. They're definitely enjoying a boom economy. Two powerful, influential groups in town are the Homeowners Association and the Devil's Fork Society for Dental Health. And there's also going to be the PTA, known as the James Q. Sweet High School's Prairie Hens. A notable landmark is the old-fashioned soda shop, which is yet to be named. Your school is James K. Sweet High School, and your mascot is the Prairie Chickens. Your favorite teacher, everyone's favorite teacher is Mrs. Jemison, who teaches English, and everyone really hates Coach Higginbotham, who teaches history.
I love that name. Yeah.
Everyone has a favorite hangout. If someone is met from out of town, they gotta go see the Devil's Fork, which the town is named after, a statue sitting in the fork of the river near the edge of town where teenagers like to hang out. The town is kind of ashamed of the really environmentally horrible area, the Candy Bog, which has got a ton of runoff. You guys have your fears. Our elementary school kids have a pet toad named Captain Ginyu, that everyone takes turns watching on the weekends.
I totally missed the name earlier.
Oh, you did? It's the 90s, right? Like, that's when Dragon Ball Z... That's about the right time for that season, I think. Am I missing anything else? Is there anything else you guys want to bring up about your characters or ideas you have? Any other aspects of the town we want to establish? Chat, you got anything for me? Anything you guys want to add to Devil's Fork? Megan, what about you? She doesn't want to be on stream. She's like, no. It's like, don't talk to me.
I've been busting my back all afternoon, so.
Cool. Well, I think we'll start to
Rumor? Rumor on something?
rumors!
Yeah.
Thank
Do
you.
we-
Everyone give me 2 rumors.
Two
About,
rumors.
or one
real quick.
rumor, one rumor.
I have one.
The candy factory is haunted by a small child completely covered in taffy because of a worker from the long ago times who fell in the taffy vat and now haunts the factory.
Ghost child that fell in the candy vats in the ye old
Taffy.
times.
Taffy ghost child.
Taffy ghost. Zoinks.
I heard a rumor that there's a traveling festival that might be coming to town.
Like a circus?
Circus festival? You up to your discretion. That's just the rumor I heard.
Okay, coming to town soon. I like that. Joe, any ideas for rumors? They don't have to be like
Rumors.
negative, creepy rumors. They can be mundane. It could be that Coach Hickenbotham is having an affair with the principal or something.
Right.
I'm adding that for my rumor.
I'm still thinking of mine. Yeah, well, come back to me. I'm still thinking.
Okay. Cody or Madeline? Either you have ideas?
You want to do one?
Well, I had a taffy ghost. I don't.
Mine is. This isn't the first Captain Ginyu.
Oh, man.
A long line of Ginyu descendants.
He just switches frog bodies every once in a while.
Oh.
There used to be also a statue of a giant spoon.
How dare you! How dare you!
What?
I got one for you. The candy shop owner really does have sticky fingers in every sense of the phrase.
Okay.
Sticky fingers.
Mariah, what do you got for me?
Shelly is actively spreading a rumor that Randy has an unhealthy interest in the reptiles in this shop.
Randy is
so terrible.
doing
It's
questionable
not nice.
things with
He has
Oh my
questionable business practices.
the reptiles. Oh, weird.
Hmm.
All right, Joe, if you come up with a rumor later, let me know. So yeah, I've been trying to decide if we were gonna play tonight. I think I want to prep
Yeah.
now that I
think-
have stuff, and see if I can find some copyright safe music that we can use that is
Yeah.
decade appropriate. So I got to go find some ska instrumentals.
Oh my god.
Don't you dare.
That is the true crime.
I said that just
True
for you,
horror.
Cody. Just for you. The
I will
Eagles.
move out of this town.
Goodness.
8-year-olds don't know what's up.
Not true.
It'll be the Eagles. All the Eagles.
Can we also have a rival town or a rival
Yeah.
high school? Maybe.
Yeah, for sure. Devil's Spoon, North Dakota.
Oh my God.
Devil's
Oh, come
Spoon,
on,
South
no, no.
Dakota is right across the
Silly,
state line.
silly.
They seceded from
No,
Devil's
it's-
Cutlet.
What if it's Fargo? What if it's like right after the movie was made,
Sure.
they've just been real uppity about it? Like they got a big hit. Like people in Fargo
Oh,
are real stuck up
interesting.
about that movie.
And our town doesn't like it.
Yeah. What you don't know is that supposedly a bank robber hid money in Devil's Fork, but they made the movie about Fargo instead because it's a bigger, more well-known city. That also gives me a rumor that there's a hidden cache. The hidden
Somewhere.
cache in Fargo is actually in Devil's Fork.
It's in the fork.
It's in the fork.
Instead of being a rumor that was gold under the fork. I thought about that.
I kind of wish that it was a coastal town so that I could have like a delta where the with a bunch of little creeks and rivers called the Tynes.
Well, I mean, there's all kinds of water like flowing through the Candy Wasteland, probably.
The Candy Wasteland's
That's
gonna be
not
gross.
Candy
It's a
bar.
bog, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited about the gross candy
And-
bog with all of its neon 90s colors, animals.
Oof.
Maybe one of Randy's like great like aspirations is to go and get go and catch a bunch of multicolored reptiles to sell in his shop from the
my
candy
God.
bog.
Yeah, because he's obsessed with Lisa Frank. He wants his shop to like be like a visual
I
representation of
don't
that.
think that fits with Randy. I see what you're doing,
Is
Mariah.
Randy actually Joe Exotic?
No.
No, that's Riley's character from our previous game, but he's likely to make some guest appearances, so we wanted to work him in. What if, because one of Randy's whole things is he wants to impress Shelly. What if, like, he just remembers when Shelly was really little, she had this
he
Lisa
really-
Frank book?
He wants
Or, like, he
to
just
want to
remembers
impress
that?
Shelley.
Like, it's like a Dr. Doofenshmirtz with the little doll type of thing, where he's like, I remembered it when you said that as a little kid.
Yeah, that's nice.
See, I made it cute.
There you go.
Yeah,
Instead
There
of
you
gross. Like you, Mariah. Goodness.
I didn't make it gross. I just said
I'm trying to
Lisa
mess with
Frank.
Riley.
Oh, goodness. But alright, yeah, I think we're gonna call it there for the night, though, for the most part. We've been at it for like an hour and 45 minutes. Does this starting time work for everyone? 7 Central, or do we want to move it up or back? Do we want to start earlier or later or anything like that? I'm concerned for you East Coast people in
Oh.
particular.
I guess a good question is how long do you want to keep sessions?
I'm aiming for 2 hours.
2 hours? Okay, so then yeah, I'd say this time is fine. I usually start petering out around like 10 o'clock. So
Okay.
I think that definitely works.
Okay, sounds good. Anything else to add? Anybody about anything? Nope. Cool. Well, guys, just so you know, I will be on again tomorrow, hopefully, for an episode of Cover to Cover with my friend Linda Detweiler. We're going to be talking about high school gaming clubs and how you can start them. And we're also going to be raising money for Magic Kids, which supplies resources and funding to high schools that want to start gaming clubs for Magic or D&D or whatever. Kids need something to do after school, and these games can often be very helpful for kids. They form a creative outlet, an emotional outlet, all sorts of great things, and giving young people access to those things is awesome. They also help with literacy and education. I could go on, but we're going to be raising money for Magic Kids tomorrow and all next week. I'm going to donate like 2,000 to 5,000 Magic cards as well, so we might do a little live stream of taking those to the post office. Any of my friends here, do you guys want to shout out anything you're working on? In particular, Joe, you do Twitch and stuff. Do you have anything coming up?
Not a lot right now. I took a bit of a break from Twitch for a while just because of all the commotion. I needed to take a bit of time and just chill. So I don't have anything upcoming at the moment.
Okay.
Out to this stuff. I got far enough to start turning the heel while we were working on this
There you go.
tonight. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, this will be your knitting stream.
It'll be a crossover. Twitch
Yeah.
stream.
A cross
It is
stitch
history.
Hmm
stream.
Is there somewhere where we can order hacky sacks?
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be my first bit of
learn
channel
how to-
merchandise.
We should all have our own unique hacky sacks for the next game.
Maybe that'll be my first bit of Twitch merchandise. I'm gonna make my merch screen soon, and the first thing will be KCT92 hacky sacks just for Joe.
Yes.
Or Casey, you should get your branded pogs.
Lawn darts. But yeah, sticker our comeback soon. I'm also going to be playing some Last of Us 2 this week, and some Maneater. Guys, if you haven't played Maneater, please do. You just play as a bull shark and eat things.
It
It's
looks
really
amazing.
fun. It's so fun. It's great. Otherwise, I'm going to do a read-through of Swordsfall soon, which is a game we'll be playing on Fridays at some point. Really, check out Swordsfall. It's so cool. It's rap battle, and it's really fun. I also have on my list the Fifth Ebon Expedition by Brandon Dixon, the creator of Swordsfall, which is going to be an adventure involving like Gundam-style mechs, and that's going to be really cool. Oh, and of course, today is a holiday. It is Juneteenth. So happy Juneteenth, everyone. If
Happy
you don't know what
Juneteenth,
that
everybody.
is, let me actually put us a thing in the chat, because I actually work as a reporter, like news type stuff, and I learned the other day due to Facebook comments on our website that a lot of people don't know what Juneteenth is, and I realized that it's a holiday that has not gained its due prominence in past years in a lot of communities, and a lot of people have never heard of it and don't know what it is. So I'm going to put a story, and I'm vamping until I find it. It's what I'm talking for. So there's a story real quick if you want to know what Juneteenth is and what it commemorates and why people outside of Texas should also celebrate it. Do that. And if you have money to give to great charity organizations, I like to tweet about those. You should check those out. Check out, for gaming fans, check out Humble Bundle's current amazing bundle with money going to Black Lives Matter and other great charities. Check out the bundles on DriveThruRPG and itch.io. They are all great and giving money to great charities. Or just donate. It doesn't have to be for a thing. Just donate if you can. I'm going to be getting one of the new Black Sabbath shirts. I thought those were really cool. But yeah, I just wanted to throw those things in there. I'm going to be doing some other charity streams to support those types of organizations as well in the near future. But that's about it. So thanks for tuning in. Do we want to play next Friday, guys, or do we want to do every other Friday? I really had not decided.
I'm good for whatever schedule.
Is anyone opposed to just doing
Yeah, I'm
every
good.
Friday?
I'm good for next Friday.
Okay, so let's just do every Friday. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to turn the stream off now. You guys should stick around for a minute. But bye!